Hello and welcome to Stretch Your Google Workspace Further with extensions, Google Goodies, add-ons, and web apps. Hi, it's my pleasure to get to know you today. My name is Tricia Lewis. I'm the Technology Integration Professional for the Richland School District in Richland Center, Wisconsin. As you can see on the map here in the lower left-hand corner, Richland Center is situated about halfway between La Crosse and our capital, Madison, Wisconsin. But on a bigger scope, we are located about halfway between Minneapolis and Chicago. This area is known as the Driftless region, as the ice did not hit our area, so we have these beautiful hills and valleys and coulees and all sorts of things around here. I've been with this school district for 6 years and an educator for 27 years. I began my career as a band director and then transitioned into technology. This presentation, all of the resources, links that are going to be mentioned, and this slide deck is available on my website at www.tricialewis.com/neotech-mar-22. And don't worry, I will be able to bring that up later on, and they'll be able to have the link always available so that you can see it. Now, to get rolling with this, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off for this part of the presentation so that I can kind of look at my notes and my screen at the same time without being that it doesn't look like I'm looking at you while I'm talking to you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off for now. All right, our agenda for today is we are going to look at some extensions, and you can see I have a lot of them up here. I did that most likely for this presentation. I don't usually keep all these pinned up here, but I have a good list of extensions for you to try. We're going to look at some Google Goodies, Marketplace add-ons, some web apps or websites that I really recommend to kind of make your life easier, work smarter and not harder, and then we'll have a wrap-up. As you can see, the website for this presentation is in the lower right-hand corner, so we'll be able to come back to that and you'll be able to see those resources as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the extensions today. The first one on the list is Loom. Why am I putting that first on the list? Well, in fact, I'm recording this presentation using Loom right now. Now, Loom does have an extension that it can use, but there's also an installing option that you can put on your PC or Mac, and I'm using the installed option right now, so that's why the menu looks slightly different. But I highly recommend Loom for your screencast recordings. You can sign up for the EDU freebie. You can have your unlimited recordings, store in the link. You can download them, put them on your YouTube channel, bring them into other programs like Camtasia and iMovie and edit them. I just love Loom, so I highly recommend that for your screencasting or just regular recording for your classes, in class or for remote learning. Next extension we're going to take a look at is AdBlock Plus, and I use this in combination with DFTube. So I'm just going to open up a guest window right now, and I'm going to go to YouTube. And the video that I'm going to look for is called How Trees Bend the Laws of Physics. All right, and this is just a video that I like to use because pretty school safe, and it's kind of an interesting video. Now, when I launch that video, notice what happens. Okay, we're going to get an ad, plus we get all this stuff on this side. Not only one ad, but 2 ads that we'd have to go through. Ugh, I hate that. But with the AdBlock Plus extension and the distraction-free YouTube, if I look for the same video using my Chrome where I have the extensions installed at,
sometimes the simplest questions have the most amazing
so the video starts
answers.
right away, and notice that there's no other videos listed over here because that can be very distracting to your students. So that is AdBlock Plus and DFTube. Really, we don't have to have, you can have, all you have to do is have it installed, and it just takes over the magic and blocks all this stuff on this side of your YouTube browser. Speaking of YouTube, let's have one more extension. This is called the Picture-in-Picture extension. So if I use that extension, I have my video up and going. I'm going to press this extension. Now that video is not only on this tab, But I can have that video on any tab that I want to. So if I want to have a video playing while I'm having a presentation showing, or I can actually go back to the tab and launch it in full screen, or whatever that I want to do. So that is picture-in-picture. It shows that video on all your tabs. Pretty cool. Note Anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch just my website just for something easy to go to. And we are going to launch the Note Anywhere extension. Now, what is cool about the Note Anywhere extension is that you literally can put sticky notes anywhere on your website. On a website. And what this and how it remembers, it is device specific, not cloud specific. So say you make some notes on a website on your PC, they're not going to show up on your Chromebook later on. It's device specific, but it does remember. So you can make all sorts of notes. And you can actually close the page, and when you come back to it, that note is there, and that's device specific, as I said. Also, it shows the note, how many notes you have on that page. You can place them wherever you want to. That's Note Anywhere. What could it be good for? Maybe password reminders, students taking notes while they're reading web content, all sorts of good stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that note for now. Page marker. I'm going to keep this website on for now, and I'm going to start page marker. Now, I used to like another annotation tool for an extension, but they kind of changed their terms of service, and so I don't recommend it anymore. But I do recommend page marker. So I'm going to go ahead and launch page marker, and I'm just using my mouse right now, but I'm going to show you something in a moment. I can choose my color, and let's go ahead and make it nice sunny yellow. And I can simply write all over any web page that I want to. Now I can also change it to the highlighter if I want to. What is the coolest thing about the page marker is that this ink is sticky. So you can actually scroll on a page and the ink stays where it's supposed to be at. Is that amazing or what? Now let me do a quick demonstration of that. I'm using this Huion pen tablet. So I recommend this is a kind of a cheaper one for a pen tablet for your PC or Mac. I also recommend the one by Wacom, which is a little bit more. This one's about $20. The one by Wacom is about $70. And I'm simply going to do that, and I just have a picture there so you can see what it is. And I click the pen on, and once I do that and launch that extension again, I can simply write on any page that I want to with my pen. Now notice that I'm in a slide deck. That's great because I'm in the present mode. I could also be in Google Slides itself and do that. You have your erasers, you can put a text tool, line tool. When you get done, you can download an image of this. When you're done, if you want to erase everything that's on your screen, you can just trash it. And then if you want to exit the extension, you're just going to exit the extension. Not sure why that kept popping up a new window. That hasn't done that before, but it'll be okay. So that is the page marker demo. Now, along with that, we're going to go into full screen interactive. Now, Google's kind of cured a little bit of this for us by being able to kind of collapse that side panel. But if you use the the full screen interactive extension, this is what you get. So I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to hide the side because I can, and then I'm going to go into that extension and launch it. Now, what that does is it enables you to kind of use this kind of like a smart notebook or an interactive slide thing. So I can actually bring these coins on and all that kind of stuff. And I bet you're wondering about something. You're like, what? How come she has so many there and they're so neatly like stacked onto each other? So I simply insert in an image. You can use any image you want to, and then you're going to duplicate it a number of times that you want. So I have it selected. I'm going to hit Control D on my keyboard. So I've duplicated a bunch of times. Then I'm going to select all of them at the same time, and then I'm going to go to the Arrange menu, Align Center, Arrange menu, Align Middle. Now it looks like I have an infinite number of those to use. So that's just a little extra trick about something that you can do for that. But you are using the Full Slide Interactive. Now, remember when you're in Full Slide Interactive, you could also launch your page marker at the same time. So if you launch page marker, then go into Full Screen Interactive, now you have a pen and that full screen to be able to use your slides and whatever that you want to do with. So that is full screen interactive. Let's go back to our list here to see where we're at. And let's go on to Google Dictionary. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a link for us to do. And I've just pulled up the Gettysburg Address here and something maybe your students would be looking up. And if they need to look up a word, if you have the Google Dictionary extension installed, you can simply highlight a word and click the extension, and it shows the definition of it. And what I also like is the pronunciation.
Proposition.
So that your students can see and read about that word and be able to expand their vocabulary a little bit further. So that's Google Dictionary. Next thing, I'm going to go ahead and leave it right on this page, and we're going to use something called Use Immersive Reader. So that extension is installed, and I'm going to highlight some text. And now I'm going to right-click on that text, and in the first thing that you see here, it says, Help me read this. This is the extension that's installed, and this is how you use it. What's going to happen is it's going to launch into the immersive reader like from Microsoft, so you can go ahead and play it back.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in...
Now, what's cool about this is you get to see it, and there's all sorts of options as well. You can make the text bigger and smaller if you want to. You can change the font. I'd probably leave it on this one for readability. Change the theme, so if you like a black background and all that kind of thing, you can do that. Grammar options. How magical is this? You can actually turn on what are the nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs by color. You can show the label if you wish as well, so that's pretty magical. Syllables to help people learn that. And also the reading preferences if you want to have a line focus. And it also has a picture dictionary. Now, of course, if you can't read it in English and you need a little help with another language, we can go ahead and have this translated into another language. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to have the document translated. And not only does it show translated, but of course, it reads translated. And this was the picture dictionary, by the way, as well, so that helps people learn the words.
Luz en este continente, una nueva nación, concebida en libertad y dedicada a la proposición de...
Pretty powerful to be able to take that web content, highlight it, and use one quick little extension, and it does that to all the text. How you get back to the regular content, simply click the arrow, and you're right back to the regular web content. So that is called Use Immersive Reader. Voice-in-voice typing is what we're going to try next. Now, I've went ahead and just launched my email program to be able to kind of demonstrate this. So this is a way for you to be able to use dictation in places where there might not be dictation. So I'm going to put this, my cursor right into the body of the text where I want to write, and I'm going to launch the extension. At this point, I'm going to be able to talk, and when I'm talking, it shows it on the screen of what I'm saying, period. And you can even enter a new paragraph and go on further. So I simply went and just, you can see it puts in what I typed, and then when I was ready to have that text inputted into the area, I simply turned off the extension to have that work. So this is a way that you can use, like I said, dictation where places there might not be dictation at. This also works like we have our LMS, which is Schoology, so it does work inside of that. Notice when I did launch it, it said upgrade. I've used this. I haven't come into any places where I've had to pay for it. So just so you know that that is out there. So that is voice-in-voice typing. We're going to go ahead and grab back to our Gettysburg Address because I'm going to show you this next extension called Toucan. Now, Toucan is a way for you to learn another language, but it embeds it in regular content. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that on. And it does take a little while to maybe turn on, so I'm going to kind of refresh the page. And all of a sudden, now that you've seen that happen, look what happened to some of these areas. It took the regular text and it actually changed what the text is, and you can learn your language. So it has you practice the word. And it says 3 free left, of course. But what I like about this is that it has this information here.
Levemente.
And you're going to be able to learn a little bit about a new language while it's embedded content of regular language. I'm not paying for the extension currently. I just like to try it out. But it's kind of a different way to be able to learn language in an embedded form. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that back off because I don't want all this changing language while I'm doing some other demonstration in my web content today. Now, I'm going to, on our list of extensions here, I did skip over Mote because I'm going to come back to that when I'm explaining another thing later on. So we are already down to View Image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a new guest tab again, and I'm going to search for trees. And I'm just going to do the image search. Now, when you click on an image, remember a long time ago it used to be that you could visit the site, but you could also view the image here? Well, guess what? View Image does that back for you. So if we look up trees in this Chrome window, when it does is you can have the image come up right like that and to be able to copy and paste it where you need to. So that is the View Image extension. It just kind of returns that button that used to be when you had a Google image search. All right, unshorten it. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to close some of these tabs here. I'm going to go ahead and go to my website, and I just had a little demo page created for this extension. Now, have you ever ran across a URL that looks like this? And you're like, but I don't know what that's for. Notice there's nothing around it, no text explaining what it is. And in order to be as safe as you can be online, you're like, maybe I don't really actually want to click on that link. So with the unshortened link, what we can do, highlight the link, and we're going to go down to the unshorten this link. So now it's telling me what the destination URL actually is. And then there are some things in here that if it has trustworthiness or child safety or whatever, and if you feel like that's a link you want to go to, then you can go ahead and click on it, and it takes you to that link. So that's a way to be able to safely see what's behind a shortened URL without actually clicking on it. Again, I highlighted the link, right-click on the link, and then choose down in my menu, unshorten this link. Print friendly and go full page. Let me grab this over here and grab another link here for us to take a look at. So when I'm going to bring up this web page, there's a lot going on in this web page, right? There's pictures and text, and I mean, I do have AdBlock Plus on, so it's at least blocking some ads there, but there's a lot going on. A pop-up came up. Sometimes that makes this web content pretty hard to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the print friendly, especially if I would like to share this maybe with my students in another way so they don't have to get distracted by all the other links. Once I've visited the link, click on the extension for print friendly, and up it pops that I can print it and make a PDF of it. Now, look how clean this is. It shows all those directions without all the other stuff in the way. So that's print friendly. On the same token, we have something called Go Full Page. If you have a long website and you'd like to have one image of it or another, or a PDF of it in another way, you can simply type on the Go Full Page extension. I love the graphic that goes along with this because it's Pac-Man munching up the page. Once he's finished munching, a new tab opens and you have an image of the full page. You can download it as a PDF or as a PNG image and have that full page image of what you need there. So those are two different ways to kind of distill web information for your students, or they can distill it for themselves. Let's keep on going. Let's talk about Chrome Audio Capture. So we are on Chrome Audio Capture right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close a couple of these tabs and start a new tab and grab my link. Now, I've grabbed a link, and this is actually of a video I made. Google Docs has had a watermark feature for quite a while. And say I needed just the audio from this video, and this is how you can do that. Now, caveat, remember about copyright rules and how this works, but if there's something you need to pull that audio from a video that's playing online, this is how you can do it. So I've got this going on here, and I'm just going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to start the extension. Google Docs has had a watermark feature for quite a while, but originally the watermark feature was only an image. Just recently, and I just did a small portion just to be able to get us a demonstration of this. So I started the extension, then I started the audio, and then when I was doing it, when I wanted to end, I just did it the opposite way. I stopped the audio, and then I stopped the extension. Now it says the encoding progress is done. I can save that capture. It saves it as an MP3 file, and I can even simply open it up. Google Docs has had a watermark feature for quite a while, but originally the watermark feature... Isn't that amazing? So you're able to get that audio from some video that's playing online. Remember, copyright rules, that you're not going to steal audio, but sometimes it's just kind of important to grab that audio for certain purposes. Let's take a look at our next extension. It is called Dual List. So I am lucky enough to have a few monitors on my desk to be able to do things, but if you're living in a one monitor world, Dual List can help. It's simply, you have the extension and you can choose how you want the screen split, and you get something like that going on. So it actually split up that. Now these are my notes from my other screen that I had, so I'm going to pull that back over to my other screen and bring this back up full. So you can have a bunch of different options of how you want that split, even horizontal or vertical. So that is called Dual List. Google Docs Dark Mode, that is just simply what it is. I'm kind of a dark mode kind of a person online. This is okay the way it looks. There's a few things I wish it would change a little bit better, but like here's my resources that I had for this extension, and notice how it makes it in the dark mode. Things I don't like about it is if you go like to the page setup menu, it's really hard to read. So I like this extension, but I don't like this extension, but I like this extension, if you know what I'm saying. But if you're looking for a way to kind of bring a dark mode into Google Docs, that's how you can do it. Momentum is the next extension on our list. That simply changes my new tab image. Notice it gives me the time, kind of gives me some little motivation, self-care things, a little quotation at the bottom, and my current temperature. I am not paying for momentum because there's other things that you can add on and have other widgets show up. To me, this is just enough, and all the different beautiful images that come up is kind of a good way to brighten my day. So that is the Momentum extension. The next extension I'm going to talk about is the Keep Awake extension. Now, the Keep Awake extension actually only works on Chromebooks, so I'm just going to explain it to you. You can see it sitting here on my dock, but it only works in Chromebooks. And there's 3 different icons that are in this. When you see the moon, that means the regular power options are what's going to control the Chromebook. But if you notice you have a Chromebook, you can't really control those power options. If you change it to the sun, like I said, it's not going to do anything on my PC, but it does on the Chromebook. Your Chromebook screen and Chromebook will never go to sleep. So kind of a fun, good thing if you are picking it up and down and don't want it to go to sleep, but remember, it does not go to sleep. So those power options, it'll keep eating that power away, so it might need to be charged more often. And then the sunset mode. The sunset mode means the system will not sleep. So it means the screen will stay on, the screen will go off, but the system will not sleep. So that is the Keep Awake extension. Remember, it's for Chromebooks only. Transpose Pitch. Oh my gosh. If you know a musician in your life, a music teacher, you must share this with them. So I'm going to go ahead and open a link to a YouTube video. Just going to pause it for now. And let's make our window a little bit smaller. And I'm going to grab a new tab. Oops. And I'm going to grab just another link just to have the sheet music up here, just because we can. All right, so now This is the piano part for the Mozart Clarinet Concerto. As a music teacher, I would have killed for the extension a long time ago when I was teaching. So if I start playing it, now this is the part where the clarinet part would come. Now that is kind of fast. Transpose pitch. Guess what it does to a YouTube video? You can actually change the speed of the YouTube videos to slow it down. So if I needed to have it at about 80%, so that if I was trying to play it, so much slower, and it actually keeps the pitch right for a student to be able to play with. And you can actually even transpose it, so if you had a different instrument playing it, it could transpose it, but it's just sitting right up there. And even a loop feature, so if there was some parts there that you really needed to work on over and over again, like maybe this passage right here, yeah, it'd be able to, so it would be able to loop that part over and over and over again in the video so that you could just practice the one part. I just thought that was the most amazing extension. All you have to do is put it on and just grab a video. There's no setup, nothing to pay for, just an amazing extension. So that again is called Transpose Pitch. Where are we at on our extensions? Well, we're down to custom cursor, confetti cannon. So custom cursor, of course, if you decide to have that on, you can have all sorts of these custom cursors to be able to highlight your work. I personally don't use this, but I like to recommend it to people to kind of have fun with their Chrome, or the kids to be able to have something different. We kind of lock down our Chromebooks a lot, and this allows them to be creative a little bit by using custom cursor. And finally, of course, on our extension page, we have to have our confetti cannon to be able to launch confetti wherever you want to on the web without having to clean it up. Now, our last extension we're going to talk about is something that teachers can have installed, but students don't need to have installed for have it to work. It's called DraftBack, and I'm going to bring back up my Google Doc here that I used to work on for this conference. Now, notice right up here is something that says a DraftBack. So when I do that, it is actually going to show me a recording of the Google Doc. Let me show you. So it shows me when the document started and the time that you're working on it. I love that it shows how I'm typing and then re-editing myself and going in the process, how long I actually worked on this. Why is this something you want to use? Well, you can see if all of a sudden a big gob of copy of pasted material comes in. You can see the date and the time that they were working on the document. So if you ask them to put something in each day, it's going to show the different dates each time that that document was edited. It doesn't show pictures if you put pictures in there, just so you would know that. But it shows all that editing going on there. Also, you can have some graphs and statistics if you do that. When were all the changes? Notice I had that document way back here, really didn't do anything for a while, and then did it again. Who all did work on it and how much time they did work on it. So that is the DraftBack extension. Here's some things behind that. You just have to have it installed. It works on any document. So if you get a document from someone else, like a student or a colleague, and you will be able to see DraftBack. They do not have to have it installed for it to work. It just automatically comes up with every Google Doc. That's why I said this is a teacher extension, but it is not necessary to have a kid extension for it. So that is DraftBack. All right, so let's take a look at some Google goodies here. That was a lot of extensions. When you're working in Google, I'm just going to go ahead and give ourselves a new window here so that we can do some of these at the same time. I should have used my Dualist extension instead of going like this. You know, your Google goodies, Google can do a lot for you without having to have an extra web page. You can just Google all of these terms and you get all of these things. So of course, a calculator could work in right in your URL bar, but you can also bring up a calculator you want to. timer, speed test, conversions, the time in. So if you're thinking about a world clock, translate, reverse image search, metronome, tuner, flip a coin, roll a die. You have all these work Google goodies, but you can also have fun with your Google goodies. Of course, like the spin a dreidel. So this actually is the game right here. Have some more games. Animals sound super fun for the young kids, but of course we have some Google Easter eggs too. It actually does a barrel roll. Kind of cool. Let me make that a little bit bigger here and this a little bit smaller so we can look at that a little bit bigger. So if I do a barrel roll, it kind of spins your Google around. A skew is a skew, of course. It actually is like a skew. One recent one I found that's kind of fun is the cha-cha slide. If you click on the microphone, your browser actually does what the song says.
To the right now, to the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Right foot, 2 stomps. Left foot, 2 stomps.
If you Google any of the friends, you'll get a little icon.
Pivot! Okay, I don't think it's going to pivot anymore.
So if you just Google each of the friends, it does it. A brand new one that just came out the other day. Oh, well, by the way, we do have a town that's close by. Oh, yeah, right here. I don't know. Some people at Google, I think, have a lot of time, but it's still cool when you can find all these Easter eggs and kind of share them with your kids. Kind of a conversation about coding and pop culture, all those things kind of rolled into one. By the way, yes, that is a town that's like right down the road from where I live, and we pronounce it Gotham, not Gotham. So kind of a fun one in there. All right, those are those Google goodies. And just a reminder, you can find all of this, the slide deck and everything, on my website at trishalewis.com/neotech-mar-22. Let's take a look at some marketplace add-ons. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into my slide deck here. So the marketplace add-ons, I'm going to start with my Okio Cam. So this is a picture I just took this morning of what my setup looks like, of where I'm presenting to you from. Yeah, I know gadgets galore, but that's beside the point. And this is my Okio Cam here, an awesome, inexpensive document camera. Works with a Chromebook even, just plug and go, and it has an extension. Just amazing. But why I want to show you this is that it has this marketplace add-on. So if I choose to have the add-on, that side panel is going to come up, and it's going to show you that here is my document camera live. Now, this is something you could do just to be able to have live, so you can have a slide deck and your document camera showing live if you want to. But what you can also do is you can take an image and put it inside of your slide deck. So if we capture that, select, and then insert. And because I said fill out slide, it filled out the whole slide, but I could also choose just to say fit in slide. But of course you can resize it as you want to. So that's the Okio Cam. That's one of the marketplace add-ons. It does work with other webcams, or other dot cams, I believe, but I really recommend the Okio Cam. Small, folds up. The Okio Cam T Plus is the one I'm working here. This surface right here, what you're seeing right here, this is actually a whiteboard surface, and it's a non-glare whiteboard surface. So you can actually just use dry erasing marker right on this surface and have it work. We're going to go look at flat now. So I love flat as being a music teacher. This is one thing that I really do like to have. Flat. And I'm just kind of clicking this in. And I'm going to go ahead and insert that. You could have played it back if you wanted to. And I'm just going to bring that snippet in. Now, before, remember I talked about the extension, the Mote extension, M-O-T-E. This is where it can come into play really awesome. Now, you can use Mote, of course, for voice. You can have them record voice memos inside of docs or in slides. But Mote with musicians, even better. Because now that I have this here, I've composed my music, I can actually have this and record music while it's showing the music on the screen. So this is good for the students to be able to compose music and play it back for you, or sing it if you wanted to. So I just grabbed my iPhone there and just brought up the piano from GarageBand. And I can just insert that. So now I've used the flat to compose music, and now I have the recording of me playing it as well. Like I said, very powerful for just voice, but awesome for music as well, so that you can be able to put real musical snippets inside of Google Slides and Google Docs. All right, where are we at here? Let's take a look at the Creator Studio. So what I did for Creator Studio, it's a way for you to be able to use a Google slide deck and create an animated GIF or a GIF, depending on how you want to say it. So I just took a slide deck, I took a dot, and then just duplicated each slide, moving that dot a little bit further. I'm going to go to the Add-ons, and I'm going to go to the Creator Studio, and I'm going to choose Create a GIF or a GIF, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's going to take some time to work a little bit. And I'm going to change the interval to 0.1. That's the lowest that you can. And I'm going to have an animated GIF as the output. And we can download that. And now I have the GIF. I can actually take that and put it inside another slide or wherever I want to use it. So fun for stop motion animation, just an interesting way to be able to use Google Slides in a whole new way. So that is the Creator Studio demo. Let's take a look at the Doc Tools and Extensis fonts. I'm going to do both of these together, Doc Tools and Extensis fonts. So let me grab my document, my demo document I want to do with that. So let's do Doc Tools first. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Doc Tools and let them run on the side here. So if you have a list of things and you need to reorder them, always easily done in a table, right? But you didn't type a table. But you can actually go ahead and resort those. And they put them in alphabetical order or reverse of alphabetical order if that's what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight it again, sort Z to A, and now we have it back to was. Numbers to words. Okay, so numbers to words. Interesting. They'll be a good way for students to be able to read numbers in that way. Also, words to numbers. Also, case you can change. So that is the Doc Tools Marketplace add-on. Let me go ahead and close that, and I'm going to go into Extensis fonts. Now, I pretty much have one font that I use all the time in Google Docs. It's the Poppins font. I just like the readability of it. I like the way it looks. But if you like to change your fonts often, it's kind of a bother sometimes. You have to go into the font menu, choose it what you want, and then you're like, well, then there's more fonts, and then you have to take them. You kind of have to do that install feature. But what the Extensis Fonts add-on does is it actually puts all the Google fonts available to you without having to add them on. So all of a sudden, if I'm in a document here and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have this in a different font, I'm going to highlight it, choose the font, and there it is in there without me having to go through all the process of the font menu and adding it on. So that is the Extensis fonts. One quick demonstration of the insert icons. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here for the insert icons demo for this add-on, I should say. What I love about this is I always choose the material icons. It's for usability, accessibility, good way to arrange your work with iconography for your students to be able to recognize different things. Notice that the color right now says the yellow color, but I don't have to have that. I can just choose the color that I want it to be and then just be able to insert the icons of where I want to. And then resize them inside of my document. And I accidentally hit it twice to go in there. One of the cool things about insert icons and whatever that we want to use, and we could have it in conjunction with another extension, and it's one of my favorite extensions, is the Color Pick Eyedropper extension. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this slide, and I just love this part of the apple color red. So I'm going to grab that extension and hover it over that point. I'm going to copy that code right there, close it back out, and now I'm going to go back to my insert icons. I'm going to actually put that code right there, and now I can actually get that icon in the color that I want it to be. So good for matching like to school colors or team colors, or maybe you have other things, a color scheme that you want to keep going on. You're able to put that hex color in there using the Color Pick Eyedropper extension along with the add-ons of the Inserts Icon demo, or the Inserts Icon a Marketplace add-on. So that takes us to the web apps. Not much left in this presentation, and I know I've shared a lot with you, but I like to be able to share a lot because then you can pick and choose and be able to use the things like instantly in your classroom. Again, you're going to be able to find links to everything that I talked about today at www.trishalewis.com/neotech-mar-22. So let's take a look at the rest of this. So we're going to go to the Start Me. Why did I choose to share this with you? Well, Start Me is kind of like a bookmarking website. And the reason why I liked it is of how it can look. You can have all sorts of widgets in there. I'm using the free version, by the way. There is a paid version that you can have some more widgets. I found that the free version works for me. I also have this at the bottom of my web page. So if I'm presenting someplace else or on another person's computer, I have access to all my links that I find important without having to sign into Chrome for them. So notice that I actually created another widget area with all the rest of the web apps that I want to show you today. So I can simply just put them in by a list, can put them in by a small icon, a medium-sized icon, a large icon, another widget of a calculator, the analog clock, our weather. Oh, it's looking a little bit better coming up here. That's good. So let's kind of keep going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the classroom screen. I think a lot of people have heard classroom screen before. I love it because it's a lot of widgets all built in one. And you can change your background. In fact, you can change your background to a live webcam or dot cam so that you can actually write on that with the tools in here if you wanted to. You can bring up a calendar, a clock, a stopwatch, the timer, the traffic light. One of the cool ones is the sound level. I want to make sure that it allows my microphone, and I'm talking really loud, but if I talk a little bit softer, it's going to keep that sensitivity and it's going to show that we're in a better field. But if you're in a classroom, you might want to change how that goes in there. So that's cool. You can have all these up that you want to. Also, it does a QR code really quickly. So you can just put the URL in there and it shows that, that QR code. You can bring up dice. It has a random name generator. All of this is available on the free version. There's also a paid version where you can save your screen so you can kind of set them up ahead of time. Either way, it's a cool product. Very easy to use. So that is classroom screen. Next one I want to show you is teleprompt. And this is a teleprompter. So it does look a little bit different on a Chromebook, by the way, than on PC, but it's seriously a nice teleprompter. So let's grab some of our text here from something we've seen before. And let's paste that in. And then I hit Start Presenting. And it gives me that teleprompter right in front of my screen here so that I can read off of it. I can change the speed of my teleprompter as I need to as well. Teleprompt, really, really awesome little kind of a web app for you to be able to use. Toy Theater. Oh, Toy Theater is amazing. They have so many teacher tools in here, things that you can use. I love Toy Theater because the way that it looks, that you can use it for like a kid thing. There's all sorts of things in there. But if you're looking for something a little bit more grown up, there's something called MathSpot Manipulatives, and I'm just going to open that in a new tab. These look a little bit more, quote unquote, grown up for like junior high, high school. But, so you have this. Okay, so we have some Play Money United States. So this is what it looks like in Toy Theater. If I'm inside of MathSpot, we get to have, well, let's go American currency. And it just kind of is like, it's like the infinite cloner there. We can be able to use those things in there. And have that in there. So those are two different ways to use manipulatives. Great for an interactive board or for your students to be able to use on their web-enabled device. Finally, the last little web app I'm going to show you is a little bit of fun called the Webcam Toy. If you remember back, like the photo booth on a Mac, so much fun to use. All the different things that can go on. My camera's going to turn on now again, and that's all right. And you can see my background in here, but of course there are tons of effects in here. Stuff that the kids would totally have like fun with. These film strips, this quad cam, all of these fun twisty, denty, bulge, wedge ones, different kind of filters for them to be able to take pictures with. So once you find something that you like, you're going to bring it up, and then you can go ahead and snap that image. And then you can just save it and be able to put it wherever you want to. So that's Webcam Toy. It's kind of brings the feeling of the Mac photo booth onto your Chromebook or your PC. I can't believe it. We're all the way here to the end. Is that incredible or what? I want to thank you so very much for watching this session today. Remember, you can find all the resources for this session that I shared on my website at trishalewis.com/neotech-mar-22. I would love to be able to connect with you on Twitter. I'm on TA Lewis on Twitter, TA Lewis Tech on Facebook and Instagram, and Trisha Lewis is my YouTube channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much again for watching this. Please feel free to reach out to me. On my website, one last thing I want to make sure that I share with you. On this website, there is a link to a session feedback. I would very much appreciate if you could take a moment and give me some feedback. It is a 2-question feedback form. I would love to be able to get some feedback if you've enjoyed this session. Thank you, and have a good day or evening, whatever time you're watching this, and stay well and stay safe.